up. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Okay, give me good. So I just want to go ahead and say first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of your input. Even when you don't think it's that important, it means so much to me that you are sitting there thinking about interpreting my message and trying to find ways to link this all together for me. And I really appreciate you guys so much and how intelligent you guys actually are. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for that, and I appreciate you. So you're appreciated and you're loved, and thank you again. And I will never know how to repay you guys back for, not knowing me, but giving me that, keeping your heart open and listening to what I have to say is, it's selfless. And so I appreciate you guys. All right, so let me go ahead and, so this is what I got for the first reading. I'm just going to show you my big paper and what I use. So that's a decent amount of information for my first reading. So I was okay with that, kind of happy about that. What I'm not okay with was the fact that there's not a lot of information on this case, but it's good because it gives me kind of like a blank canvas, and it won't change my perception at all, and it doesn't give me like more biased thoughts if I know less. So in that aspect, I'm thankful that I don't know a lot and that there is not a lot of information publicly on this case. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll say her name and just very vague information. Any other information you need to know about this case or want to know, just go ahead and look it up. But there's not much from what I see. So her name is Kelsey Berreth. She is currently missing. There's thinking that she may have already passed, but I'm gonna go, I read as if she was missing, as if I do not know. So last time she was seen publicly was at a Safeway store in Woodland Park, Colorado, and she later exchanged her daughter with her fiance, and that was the last that she was seen. So that's what he's claiming, is that that she gave Kaylee, which is her daughter, to him, and that was the last that she was seen. So I'll go ahead and start by my feelings about everything. First and foremost, I got the sense of her as a person. She's very logical. She's very, she's have to see the facts to piece everything together, and she just doesn't talk to talk. Everything she says and does is very purposeful. She doesn't do things for no reason. And it may not make a lot of sense to you, but there's a lot of people out there who do things for nothing. The way that they go about their life has no actual purpose, and hers did. So I'll say that. I'll go ahead and start with, the first thing I got was a child's toy. Now, when I got that, it was in the image of a rattler. So that meant to me, more than likely was that her daughter was with her or had something to do with this. So I seen a child rattler. Second, and this is very significant because this kept popping up through this reading. Something about this would keep popping up. She was cold. I kept seeing cold, nighttime, thinking I'm cold. Before things went down or after, I'm not sure. But I did see a child's blanket. Like she was in a cold place and not taken care of properly as far as her being that cold. And that she was uncomfortable and cold at that time. Then we went on. So next, she was possibly taken somewhere. She was not seen driving, so I didn't see her driving. I seen her in the passenger seat. And I felt like, from her perspective, I was sitting in the passenger seat and I willingly went in this vehicle. I was willing, not that I was willingly there, but I didn't fight what's happening right now. Me getting in the car, us going, I wasn't physically fighting or felt defensive at that time. But I did know that where we were going was out of my hands. It was completely out of my hands where we were going, but I didn't fight it right then and there at that time. So it may have been someone she knew that she was in the car with. And so it was someone she knew that she was in the car with, didn't have control of where she was going, but she also didn't fight it at that time. So we'll move on. I did get a heart symbol, and a heart symbol, or a heart for me, could mean a love. So that person had a relationship love with somebody, and that may have something to do with it, or it just means that we connected and she appreciates me connecting with her. Those two things I have gotten in the past, but I'm feeling like it's more of a symbol for her being romantically involved with somebody at that time. And because she's bringing that to light, may mean that he had something to do with it. So I'm just talking as if we don't know these things, okay? So she brings up the heart because, again, when it comes to cases, I don't want to get into information that is irrelevant to the case. So this may mean just her fiance. So the fifth image I got, I don't know how to really explain this to you guys, but so I seen a map, okay? I don't know the names, any words, any cities, anything that was on this map, but I do see a trail. So, okay. So there's this map, here I am, or whoever, and then I see this trail kind of make a hook thing. Like it goes up a little bit, it kind of makes a hook, and bam, I'm right there. I don't know where this is at, and I don't know if this is like a road or like a dirt trail that no one's seen, but I do know that it was like the spot, that would be me, and then over here somewhere would be pinpointed. And I don't know if it's pinpointed because that's where she's at, or because something happened there, but it's up north, like I'm going up, okay? But any specifics as far as that, I didn't go too deep into because I was getting a lot of random things. I didn't want to jump back and forth into it. I wanted to make sure that each thing went along with the image I got. So we're going to move forward. Okay, so the first image I seen was her, and she had a globe in her hand, like legitimately a globe. And it was golden, like lit up, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. But she had it in her hand, and it was this was her world. This earth that was glowing was her world. And she said that she could hold it and she could see her life from a distance being this golden world for her. And that someone promised her good things, and she held on to that. So she was looking at this world like, this is my world, this can be me, this can be my reality, because someone gave her these promises that they didn't keep, obviously. She sees it was just a made-up fantasy, and she should have put more effort. So I guess she's kind of regretful of putting more effort into this fantasy that someone made for her. She just completely gave into it rather than saying, you know, looking at the facts and looking at it at that time for what it was. Was compliant, and she didn't fight. So that, again, may go to the passenger seat, and her being in the passenger seat and being compliant. So then I seen, and this has came up, and the first time when I seen the cold image, or the cold feeling, I also seen a pickup truck. And it was like, I don't know if it was exactly a pickup truck, but it was a truck. And it looked used, okay, like someone had this for years. And she knew the truck. She knew this person's truck. It was familiar to her, or the person driving was familiar to her. And I seen like tires on a dirt road, or the tires were dirty. And I specifically remember that, like the truck was had dirt on it, like it was going through a dirt trail or something like that, like a road that was just dirt. The eighth image I got was, okay, this is weird to me because this has happened on numerous occasions during this reading, but it was like bread or toast or something like that I seen the first time. It was like just one piece of toast, bread. And then I seen an image of like a grilled cheese sandwich or a sandwich, something like that had bread, okay? For sure bread. And then it made me think, is this groceries? Like, is it because she was at Safeway, or maybe she was getting something at Safeway? Like groceries. I don't even know what Safeway is. We don't have one of those here in Houston, so I don't know. what that is, and I probably should have looked it up before I made this video, but so that's what I was thinking, like, is it groceries, a Safeway, a grocery store? And that's why I'm seeing that. And then it went into, let me just say that I did see a cake, an image of a cake after that, but it was also like a bread-like cake. Like, this is something with bread, or that can mean groceries. She was grocery shopping. So I would want to know about that one. What she got at the store, possibly. Okay, so yeah, what she got possibly at the store, something like that. The next one, well, let me see how much time I have left. Okay. All right, so next one we'll go on to is, okay, so I seen her and I seen her face. Okay, I didn't even write this down, but I seen her face, and it, okay, I'll give you like just me saying it. This is exactly what I seen. She was like maybe in the house, in a house, and she was in like the living room or the kitchen area, and someone like backhanded her. Like, I just see her do this, like, and then look back up. But her attitude was like, is this happening right now? She was like almost like she knew things were getting bad at that moment. And it was like a slow, like, you know, when you're not, I wouldn't say shocked, but you're like this is what's happening right now. That was her. And I don't know if she got beat up, but I did notice she didn't look really messed up. And I don't know, because usually, you know, of course, like I say, I ask for anything from the universes or God's white light to come through for me, and I will not see anything, like I've said in my past videos, anything derogatory or explicit or anything like that. It's not going to happen, and I do not want that to happen, so I refuse to see things like that. But I seen like her nose was bleeding, or it was very subtle. Like, I'm not going to say subtle, because that's not subtle. Anything that happened to her is not subtle, period. But it was like one, you know, just drops of blood coming out of her nose or something, very like bruised maybe around her face, but it wasn't like she was bleeding to death type thing. But I did see that, and I just seen her face like this, like she was determined. She was determined, and she knew what was going on. Okay. The next image I got was checkered print, like a race car track or something is what it reminded me of, that print, that checkered print, like a line of it. That's my jacket. Like a line of checkered print, and that's all I seen of that one. The next one, and I don't know if these two go together or if they're completely separate, but I seen like a box, and it was either wood or plastic. Now, the only reason why I'm not too sure about that, if it was an actual box, like maybe that's where she is or what, but it made me think, like, is that her house? Because I seen also like a cabin, like wood on the outside of this house. So I don't know if the box, to me, because it might have been wood, was a cabin, or if this is completely separate and the cabin is separate from this box I'm seeing. But I did see square box. And but it wasn't clear. It was just like the lining of a box. So I don't know if it was like the house. I don't know if it was a cabin, a whole different house, cabin somewhere, if it was an actual box. So then we'll go on. The next one I seen is snow boots, and this also goes along with me saying that she was cold. Like, I'd seen snow boots as if maybe she had them on, or she wanted them, or something like that. Like, it was cold that night, so she had to have boots on, or should have had boots on. Like, she had to walk up. Okay, like she had to walk up a road, or she was forced to walk somewhere. So I did, again, this road is something that is constant throughout this reading. And like, she was driving, and then they finally stopped, and then she had to walk the rest of the way, is what I'm kind of getting. And because this happened later on in the reading, like this is one of the last messages I received, I'm thinking that this is kind of trying to go in order for me. But the cold thing, that was the second message I got. So I don't know which order this happened in, but the fact that it happened later, the snow boots thing, and that she had to walk somewhere, I'm thinking this was towards the end of it, like towards the end of the bad things. Next, very open field. So I did see a very open field, and like I seen an image of one little part of this field. It was like, you know, tall grass and bushes, very thin stemmed bushes. not very dense, and they had little flowers on them. So it was like wildflowers, just like bunches of them, and they were little tiny flowers that were on them. So I remember seeing that, but the rest of the place, it's like there was random bushes, and there would be the little tiny flowers, but for the most part, it was open field with grass, and then some dirt, and okay, well, I'll just, whatever. Where did I stop at? Okay, so I'll stop there with the bushes with the small flowers, okay? Next, a road for sure. So I did see this road over and over, so I'm just stating that I did see the road again. Dirt road. Or a road that wasn't paved all the way or something like that. Let's see. Okay, so then I also got, she felt like she was meant to be a mother and played a part, which also played a part, absolutely. So felt the need to protect her baby. She felt defensive, and it had something to do with her child, and she felt like she was meant to be a mother, and that was her destiny, and her purpose was to be a mother. And so she was going to make sure that she defended her child 100%, and that she backed her up 100% and would fight for her no matter what. But I'm getting that the child, not that Kaylee had something to do with her child, but that it played a part. Her daughter played a part in this somehow. Like the fiance didn't want her to be a part of the child's life anymore with him, something like that. But it absolutely played a part in whatever's going on. Because her child had came up. The first message I got was about her child, so that could either be, okay, that's the reason why everything happened, like that it was like a snowball effect, or just saying that she was with her at some point that day. But I felt, I don't have children. I have fairy children, but not human children. And I felt like I had a human child, and I was going to fight for them and protect them. And I would be damned if anybody touched my kid or did anything that that I did not agree with. So she felt very defensive, and she knows that her role is to be a mother. Next one I seen is rocks. So rocks, I seen it was like, not pebbles, but like gray, those gray, really round, smooth rocks. And then it made me think, okay, well, Colorado, there's obviously a bunch of rocks everywhere. So I would have to go deeper into that, because I'm sure in Colorado there's like different spots, and especially if you're from there, you know, these rocks are different from these rocks and this and that. So I would have to look deeper into that. And then the last thing that I'm going to say about the reading was, or about my messages anyways, was I did get a cup of tea or coffee. And I seen that in the middle of this reading, but I was like, you know, maybe I'm just, because some messages I get are things that I've seen throughout the day, you know, so I try to keep it very on my road as far as my messages that I'm receiving. But if something came in from earlier that day, like I drank a cup of coffee or a cup of tea that day, and I randomly see it, I sometimes think, okay, well, that may be for me. Like I drank a cup of coffee, so it's getting thrown in there. If it happens more than once, then I go ahead and say, okay, so this might be from, you know, the person I'm connecting with. And I did see a cup of tea or coffee, and that is my second time seeing it, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I don't know why I got that cup of tea or coffee, but yeah. So that's what I got, what I received for my first reading. And I must say, Kelsey Berreth is she's smart. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please put your brains together, and I want you to comment anything that you heard me say that would go along with, that would link up with something. Me using a blank canvas. I just knew what I told you, literally. Where she's from, what happened, last time she was seen, and what they know as of now, but very vague. So I want to hear you guys' input big time. And then I'm going to go ahead and do another session later, probably next week or so. So just be on the lookout, you guys. And then add my social networks if you haven't by now. I should have them in the description. Love you guys, and I'll see you later.